Now, the last lesson we are going to have in this course is lesson 6, which consists of close the project or phase. When I said talking about closing project, that is by the time you've done all the necessary work, you've initiated your project, you plan your project, you execute and implement your project work to be able to produce project deliverable. You monitor and control the project to see the variance in what you plans and as against what you are doing. Then you begin to think of how you are going to close the project when you finish the project work. So you can close your phase of the project. If you are doing your project phase by phase, maybe in phase one, phase two, phase three, phase four, whether the old methodology, that is a waterfall methodology, you can say in phase one, phase two, phase three, phase four. When you're talking about adaptive methodology, you're not talking about phase, you'll be talking about sprint by sprint. You are doing your work in iteration. Sprint one, sprint two, sprint three, sprint three. And that one is better because each of the sprints you are doing major increments. You are increasing what you are doing. As you are doing, implementing or executing the tasks of the project to produce deliverable, you discover that in that you are also interacting and what not only are you interacting with the customer, you also engaging with the customer, you are collaborating with the customer, and you are demonstrating what you are doing for the customer so that customer can give you a feedback for improvement. I love that methodology. But in this case, we're going to talk also about about the that you talk about the phase now, phase closure. That one is a sprint. It's really sprint by sprint. The other one you're talking about phase by phase. So you can close your project by phase if you are using a phase method, or you can close the whole project at the end. But here you are going to talk about benefit realization. The purpose of a project is to deliver value. Organization need to realize a benefit from that project. The outcome of that project will benefit the organization. If it's not organization you are running project for, if it's an individual, the end user must deliver value to the end user. If it's a customer must enjoy your service or your product or service. If it's the whole organization at the enterprise level, they must enjoy. Your project must be in alignment with the organization's strategic objectives. So in other words, you are a change agent. Your project work or the outcome of your project or your deliverable of your project must be able to bring a meaningful change, creative change, make your organization better, or bring a meaningful change to your organization. That means your project at the end of the day must be able to benefit the organization. You call it benefit realization. And when you finish your project, you learn something from your project. I know you have asked something about historical information and lesson learned. While you are doing your project, there are certain new things you have not done before with your member, with your stakeholder, with the team member, the development team, the the strong team, or the scrum master, or the product owner. You people are learning new things. There are certain things you do in your project you have not done before. Therefore, you have acquired some knowledge. If you look at your organization, when you are doing your project, there are certain things that somebody has done before you. He put it inside your organization process asset. That is a area whereby the experience you have in your previous projects, you put it in that a register. So you are doing the present project. All the thing you learn, better way of doing thing, better way, the worst way of doing thing, the what you do well, what you did not do well, how do you manage your finance, how do you manage your resources, how do you manage the cost, how do you manage your quality. All those things must be recorded before you close the project. That one is like you are transferring knowledge transfer. That means another person, another project manager who is going to do a similar project in the future, you can come back to that your register where you register all this your knowledge now, your database, and see if they want to do planning now and you are doing the similar job, somebody has done the similar job, you don't need to reinvent the way. It will save the person time to go and be doing a comprehensive planning or whatever you're going to do, because somebody has done something you have done before. Just go to the database and see how it is done. It will save your time in having a long time planning for all the area of your project work. So that's what we are going to learn here. And that's why you must know how to do this, otherwise you are not complete your project. If you have not closed your project, you have not complete your project. So let's look at how it work. I like this one. This area is, it can even read it yourself, but there are certain area that I need to put light on. Now, what are the objectives? What is the learning objectives in this the closed phase and the closed project? Our learning objective will be what? We define the reason and activities related to the closure of a phase of a, or a project. We need to explain to you, or you need to learn or explain the benefit gain for a project or phase and how they are managed and sustained. When you finish your project, you transfer it to the operation or to the organization or to the end user who are going to use it in case of application. One thing is that you must be able to define how that application or the your deliverable will be managed and be sustained for a longer period. If you cannot manage it or sustain it for a longer period, that means that project is it doesn't deliver value that is required. Then we also need to examine the reason for knowledge transfer and how they relate to the closure of a phase or a project. You can close a phase or phases. You are using waterfall methodology, you work in phases. This is how you do it. You initiate, you do by saying, okay, you define your project, you collect requirement from stakeholder, you plan the requirement, you build based on the requirement. That means you design, yeah, you design your project based on the requirement. Then you build the requirement. You text. I mean, you build the what you produce. You text what you produce. Then you deploy what you produce. Then you send it to the operations. Or maybe on a stage whereby you need to deploy it. Deployment. uh So, so this one we examine the reason for a knowledge transfer and how they relate to the closure of a process and a project. So looking at that, we start with why project or phase close. That means when you fulfill. That one say, can you say fulfillment? Why project or phase close? Then I write fulfillment. You cannot close your project until when all the requirements are fulfilled. You meet your project objective, your sprint objectives. The reason why the project was established, you meet the needs. Otherwise, you are not closing any project. uh So that is why you need to know this. It says stakeholder accept deliverable. Remember that at the end of the day, when you produce the deliverable of your project, you are delivering to the stakeholder. So stakeholder, what they will do, they will assess it, they will validate it, they will see whether it meets with the definition of done. Or if you want to look at it from the other methodology like waterfall, whether it meet the criteria for acceptance. If it doesn't meet the criteria, the stakeholder will not take it from you. But before you do that one also, you yourself, you need to do what they call verification. That is why we learn about quality control. You subject your marketing, your project activities or methodology you are using, you subject it to a particular process. Use a quality control chart like the one we are told before. Say quality control chart whereby you see upper control limit, lower control limit. You subject your data for your processes, you plot it into a chart. Then you see whether your work meets with standards. That's what you are doing. You are verifying the thing you do internally before you deliver it to the customer. You have to first test it inside whether all the functionalities, feature and function of what your teams are delivering or implementing, they are working very well, because you don't want to transfer error to the customer. If you build an application, it's full of error. The user cannot use it very well because it will misinterpreting their intention, and it can cause them to lose and they will not enjoy it. Error in your software or code, e no be. So you need to verify. If the verification is done internally by you, or you can call somebody, an auditor from outside, to come, and the third party who will now independently and verify it for you. That's why you have quality control department in your organization who see to the quality control, to verify it, to subject it to quality standard and quality policy of your organization, to make sure that you build a product that will make customer to be happy, enjoy, give value to them. So all these things must be verified before you go. Not only that one, maybe you sign a contract. You sign contract with vendor to supply you the resources to do your project work. You must understand now that the agreement and the contract you sign with vendor must be cleared before you go. You don't be like if somebody who engage a vendor, vendor supply you all the necessary to do the work of the project. Maybe you are building a house, and eventually you now discover that you finish the work and you are owing the vendor, and you say you want to go and in our Nigerian parlance, you want to go and warm the house. You want to, when we build a new house, you want to open it, want people to come and rejoice with us. The vendor will wait for you the day you want to open and disgrace you, because you fail to meet your own parts of the negotiation and the part of the contract, that if I supply this thing, you pay me this amount of money. You now went and say, okay, you leave the contractor is pursuing you. That's how your vendor is pursuing you. He will wait for you the day you are going to warm the house, open it. You put a tape there and will cut it. In the presence of the people who are going to witness that thing, he will disgrace you. So you don't want it to be like that one. So you have to feel that obligation. Those are the things you do under face closures and project closure. So the stakeholder accept deliverable based on acceptance criteria. Can you see? And if you look at this icon here, it's talk about waterfall methodology. So stakeholder accept deliverable based on acceptance criteria. There's an acceptance criteria from the stakeholder, that these are the conditions in which this thing you deliver must meet before I can accept it for you that you have done the work very well. So stakeholder accept deliverable based on acceptance criteria established at the beginning of the project in the project management plan. Remember that when you are planning a project, part of the thing you do is what? You put that by the time I finish this project, these are the conditions, these are the criteria in which I'm going to use to judge, or metrics I'm going to use to measure whether this project meet the standard based on the requirements you gather from the stakeholder. It's very important. And you look at the statement of work and the project management plan, because whatever you are going to do, you can see it in the project management plan, the statement of work. Whatever you are doing is in, if it's in variance when the project management plan, then you are doing something else. You are off the track of the project. So that is why you are doing this. Stakeholder accept deliverable based on acceptance criteria established at the beginning of the project when you are planning the project in the project management plan. Remember, acceptance criteria may be modified during the project life cycle. That's why we talk about changes. Whatever change you are making, especially to your baseline, it must be subjected to integrated change control process. There must be a way whereby that change must be verified, must be analyzed, and see what will be the effect of that change in your project constraints or objectives. So acceptance criteria may be modified during the project life cycle, but it has to pass through a change control process. There's a change control process in the waterfall methodology, and a change control process in agile methodology. You use the requirement traceability matrix. I've talked about requirement traceability matrix to ensure completion and the approval of all requirements. If the exam asks you, apart from the acceptance criteria, they don't talk about acceptance criteria. They say, what's the usefulness of requirement traceability matrix? What's the usefulness of requirement traceability matrix? That means you are tracing back requirements to the origin. Remember, when you are starting your project in your scope management plan in the waterfall methodology, you do what? You first identify who are the stakeholder will be involved, that you'll be working with in this project. Not only identifying them, all the stakeholder you identify, you put them in which register? Stakeholder register, so that I can put their profile there. Number three, it is the stakeholder that you are in the project that you discover, you identify. This thing you are going to do throughout the lifetime of your project. You keep on, as long as your project is in existence, you keep on identifying who are the stakeholder. Stakeholder can appear at different stage or different phases of your project. So you keep on identifying. For the exam say, stakeholder, the identification of stakeholder is throughout your lifespan of your project. The same way, identification of risk is throughout the lifespan of your project. I'm just hinting you now. So I've done this exam before. I passed it well. Not only passing, I passed well. So I know what's involved. I've seen paper, question paper. So you use requirement traceability matrix now to ensure that completion and approval of what requirement. You see, when you collect requirement from stakeholder, the stakeholder you have identified, you have recorded in stakeholder register. Whenever you now say you finish the work, you need to trace back the work to the requirements you gather from them. If what you have done now does not look like the requirements you gather from them, then you are not completing anything. That's the purpose of requirement traceability matrix. It helps you to trace the requirement from the beginning, because you have finished the project. What is the requirement? The features and function that the stakeholder want to see in the end product, the end product, or the end of your project or your deliverable. If you want to deliver after the implementation of the project does not look like the initial requirement, you aren't going anywhere. So that's why you need to the stakeholder, we need to trace back to the requirement they give to you and see whether you build according to the standard, according to the requirement you gather from them. And if you are making any change on approval, you still need to go and look at the requirement too. This is the present requirement. If I'm changing from this requirement to change to another thing, I need the requirement traceability matrix, a document, to do the approval. If I say initially say I should paint this the wall of the house I'm building for you blue color, you now change it to yellow. I need to first trace it back and say okay, it was yellow, now it is now blue. So it allow me to be able to approve it and say we are changing from yellow or blue to yellow. So that tomorrow you not go and tell me that why did you change it? And I said go and look at the something. Are you not people who say I should do it like this one? Approval. You approve it that I should change it from blue to yellow or yellow to blue. So subsequently, maybe nobody come and accuse and say why. Or maybe say oh, all the door I want to fix it. I want to be a door that you can use a smart card to open. Yeah. A smart card to open here. You can see. So in that case, you need the requirement traceability. You trace back the requirement to the origin. If you look if you look at the this icon, the one of adaptive method, at the end of the iteration, in this one you do iteration by iteration. I say iteration is a sprint. Iteration take place in sprint. Your sprint is have been time box. You time box it to about a month in a sprint. So if you are building an application, the application is in modules. Each module you can call it iteration. As you build that module, then you build an increment on it. You do the activities. You put the increment somewhere. You go to second module, another iteration or sprint. So at the end of the each an iteration, that is why we talk about a sprint review. You review with the user. So that's how you review this one to know whether that increment you build by your development team that in that sprint, in that iteration, meet the standard. So at the end of the iteration, the team and the stakeholder assess. That's what you do in a sprint review. The team and the stakeholder assess the product or service. If it's product you are producing or you are rendering service to, against their mutual agreed. What is the mutual agreed when you are planning the iteration or sprint? Definition of done. In the other one, acceptance criteria. I cannot see reason why anybody in this my training will not pass this. But not every lecturer will be able to explain this one to remind you. So it must meet with the definition of done according to our mutual agreement when we are doing the sprint planning before I can accept it from you. Because I'm closing it. To close a project means that I need to deliver it and accept. If it doesn't meet the definition of done, error. Then the final acceptance occur prior to the product release. Because you need to test it. You need to demonstrate it to me whether it's working before I can accept it. So acceptance criteria, you can see, they give you say pay attention. You see this thing, PMI is so smart. You say pay attention. They not tell you may come from exam. They are not telling you that pay attention to this area in case it comes from it can come the exam. Pay attention. Oh, that's what this one mean. I'm telling you now. Pay attention. Acceptance criteria and definition of done express the same status of stakeholder satisfaction. And you see, when the product we are satisfied, it meet the definition of done, it meet the acceptance criteria. Can you see? Teams may use this term interchangeably. Can you see? You can call it acceptance criteria or definition of done. Why a project office is closed? Why do you close some project? Sometimes you may not even finish a project and close it. That might be reason why project or phases close. If you are doing your project phase by phase, that means premature or forced close. Can anyone in this room, let's look at this one now. This is discussion. Can anyone share an example of a forced project or phase closure? Is there anybody here who have managed a project before? Can you tell me the reason why you prematurely close a project or force the project to close? If you don't know, you can guess. Who can tell us? Nobody. Nobody has managed a project here before. Nobody. Nobody's online. Am I just talking to myself? Mr. Hakim, Mr. Fatai, we are
We are
here.
here. We are
Yes.
here. We are here.
I'm
We are
asking,
there.
why must you prematurely or force a project to close? They say we should discuss
Yeah,
now.
if
And then,
no, I thought you asked if any of us have had that experience to close the project. That's why I didn't
Okay.
answer. But if the the product or services no longer meet the needed requirement or regulation has changed
I
for
love
that
that.
project, so we may we
Yes,
may, we
close it.
may, we may close the project.
Yes. Especially government regulation, and you cannot meet it or you cannot meet the standards. You don't go for that. You don't just say, I want to put government apart. What are they talking about? It's a risk. When they can learn, they can, what do you call that language they use? They can penalize you. That the penalty can even, the cost of the penalty will be more than the total of your project. Who can tell us again? You know that person? There are many. If you don't need the project has met, see, you may plan a project and be doing. That's why we say waterfall methodology is not the best way to manage project. You manage a project for a particular event, but the event has gone. Even if you build if you finish the project, the event has gone. It's not relevant again. You force it to close. Let me give you an example of a scenario, but this is where we're supposed to discuss now. Let us assume that Nigeria want to hold international maybe competition like football. I don't know more about football, but I like boxing. When you talk about boxing, I'm there. I don't know why I don't like football. Majority of people like football, but it doesn't even move me. I say Nigeria is playing final like the other time. I love it. It was very painful when we lost. I like boxing. Assuming that Nigeria want to host international football by who is that body? That's a body that help us to organize it. What they call them say that body that organize international soccer tournament. Who can remind me that one? Because I'm not good at that. Who is the body that organize the international football competition like world football World Cup? Who is the body that organize it? Anybody? This group we are not interacting. Oh, we are supposed to interact. Or you are just cooking. I'm just speaking to somebody who is not there. But I've learned from experience. Sometimes you teach somebody is in the kitchen, cooking. When they come back, they say, hey, I didn't get that area. Can you repeat? I'm asking this group now. If Nigeria is organizing international competition like a World Cup, who is the body that organizes and make sure that everything is managed very well? Who is that? If Nigeria is want to go to World Cup, there's a body that manage the whole World Cup seasons. FIFA. Nobody can talk. Nobody's here now who like football. FIFA organize it and make sure they manage everything from the beginning to the end. Now, Nigeria now want to host. They say we have a right to host. We have a right to host the tournament, maybe the next World Cup. We have the right to host it. They now tell us that for us to host it, there are some conditions we need to meet. Like, let's say, we need to have about 10 stadia in different part of the country. That this 10 stadium must be ready because the thing we hold by December. Let's say you hold by December. He said by November or October, all the whole stadia should have been ready. Then maybe Nigeria now because we are dragging our foot on the important decision. we can only make the stadium about 7 stadia out of the 12 stadia to be ready, and we are going to start the tournament in the next month. You see that in that case now, we cannot finish that project of building that stadia as at the time agreed for that tournament to take place. That means that project we have to stop because it cannot meet the tournament event again. The another country that are ready, maybe they normally negotiate for it. It can be about 3 countries who want to do it. Since we are not ready, they'll give it to another person, another country. So in this case now, that project will be prematurely or forced to close because we cannot meet the condition to build the stadium that can meet the standard of the FIFA. So that's what I'm trying to say here. I'm giving you a scenario because when you're doing my project, I'm not doing theory. I'm talking something about you can apply it to your project work or you can use it to pass your exam. So requirement need change. You can see it here. It's even here. Requirement or need change. Project deliverable is no longer feasible. The owner or the sponsor, he has not enough money to continue the project. A project manager will not be using his money to execute or implement a project. When the owner say, I don't have the money again, I'm stopping it, what do? You force him. Internally, organization make a change to the business case. If their business case changes, because they will call something business case, the justification of a project. Why are we doing this project? And you discover that the business case changes, then you close it. External, a legal or regulatory change prohibit progress. That's what somebody just told us. Regulation, compliance, you cannot meet with the compliance, you stop. So this one includes whether you close a project normally or not manually. Project deliverable is no longer desirable. You don't desire it again. It doesn't inspire us again. The purpose of the project is not cannot be met again. Event has stolen it away from us. Maybe we met with impediment encounter. For example, now you are managing a project in Nigeria. You want to construct road. Suddenly there's a war, breakout. You cannot be constructing road during the war, or you want to be a victim. You stop it. Financial support is not available to complete the requirement from the user, I mean from the sponsor. You close it. Risk. There are some very difficult risk, dangerous risk. That's why we say you need to do risk assessment to be able to do what they call risk response strategy. You need to do how to analyze your risk. You can do it in two way, whereby you ask, okay, this risk is high, is medium, is low. If there's a high risk, it can damage all your project. If you don't do your risk assessment very well, it can damage and then you cannot continue again. So that's why it's important and very crucial, very necessary, very key for a project manager to, before starting a project, to do the plan. You have to do the risk assessment. You analyze the risk qualitatively and quantitatively. You qualify it to see which risk, when it occur, if it occur, what's the how can it damage your project, so that I can do a proactive management to it before it occur. Risk with the significant consequences make successful completion impossible. Now, close a project or phase. Now, these are the activities you do when you are closing a project or you are closing a phase activities. That is a phase activities or close project activities. Number one, or bullet number one, acceptance of deliverable or product by the customer. And say before a customer accept a product from you or service, what would the customer do first? Who can tell us? I've talked about it this morning. Let somebody, or let me be very specific so that you don't waste time. If you are closing your project or the analysis of your project or are doing a kind of a business analysis, you want to close it, what will the customer do before they can accept that deliverable from you? Who can tell us? Let me ask from Mr. Fatai Lawal. Oh, Mr. Fatai have been talking. Let me talk about Mr. Akim. What do you think a customer will do, or end user, or customer, or organization, or customer representatives? What will they do before they can accept? This team, you are not collaborating with me. Oh. If you don't know, just tell me. Mr. Akim, if you don't know, just tell me I don't know. You're telling me you are not there, whether you are not there or you don't know. Mr. Fatai Lawal, before a customer or end user can accept delivery from you, what would they do first? They, not you. Mr. Fatai, or the network is not clear. Mr. Fatai, ah, Ogumaja. Mr. Fatai, hello. This one is showing that I'm talking now. Hello. 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 Ah, okay. Hello. Okay, oh, see, I'm doing the recording. If you don't get this one, you can read. Another thing you can do here before you can a deliverable can be accepted or product can be accepted by the customer. Customer must can validate because they are going to ask you an exam. It must be validated. They will measure it. They will make sure that what you produce meets with the requirement. It's very important. It's as small as it is. Some people still got it very wrong. The delivery must be validated. It is the validated product that the customer accept. It is you who are internally that you verify it whether you do the right work using the quality control process, quality control procedure. Transition of deliverable or product to customer. It is the end that you are doing that on. When you are closing your project is when you transition of deliverable or product to customer. You will notify enterprise or organizational function, update, organizational process assets. You have to especially if you are doing the project for the organization or enterprise or a particular organization, the operations, you have different function. It may be in one function in the operation that you are doing for. Then you need to update the organizational process assets. All the knowledge you learn, all the thing you learn, all the benefits you receive, all the idea, because when you do a project, it's like you learn new thing. How you do something better, how you didn't do something better, what are your error, what are your challenges, what are your progresses, what are the innovation you discover, creativity. Their knowledge, they don't need to be thrown away because your organization for it to be able to grow as a organization that using project management, that is to be mature in project management, they must not throw away their experiences of their previous projects because in the future they can make use of those knowledge. So we call something organization process asset. You need to update the organization process asset. All the knowledge you gather, you put it into repository. The knowledge, the idea you gain, the error, the mistake, the progresses, innovation, creativity, it must not be lost. That we call it assets. It's going to be useful for you in the future project. That means that your organization is mature in managing projects because you have knowledge you gain from the previous. You call it lesson learned. Lesson learned you learn in this project, you document it. There are two things you normally look at: lesson learned and what? Who can tell me lesson learned and what? Historical information. Then you, one of the activities you do when you are closing your project or phase, you prepare final report. There's no way you finish a project you say you don't write report. You write report. Project manager and all the team member, they will write report. That report will be collated by the project manager or the scrum master or the product owner. They cannot translate the result and to the management of the organization or the users. That report is very important because they are going to store that report. Report will help them for future projects. Reporting, you can, when you are doing your reporting, you can use a lot of the presentation software like PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, database, and all that kind of thing. Then you conclude external obligation. What are the external obligation in this case? Your vendor, all the obligation, the payment you're supposed to make You engage them, it's a contract. You say, if I do this one for you, this one for me. If I supply you this thing, you're going to pay me this amount. All those external obligations must be settled, including legal one. If you are not able to settle them in the court, if the court has not done the injunction, you cannot close the project. When the situation or problem is in the court about the project legal, you cannot close it. Regulatory issue has not been met, you cannot close it. Contractual issue cannot be met, you cannot close it. Transfer of liability, for example, if their third party are involved, you can't close it. Closure of all accounts in financial system, the way you spend the money in the project, all your ledger you will put in place, invoices, trial balance, balance sheets, consolidated accounts, and all the accounting process. You understand me? Reconciliation of accounting, your expenses and expenditure and the income must be balanced. You cannot close your project. This is how PMIC that all these processes activities must take place. You can say you can close your project. You cannot close your project without fulfilling all these processes that we have here. The archive project information, all those reports, financial report, scope report, risk report, resources report, all your processes report, everything must be what? Archive them. You store them in any place, maybe in your database or any repository, so that in the future you'll be able to identify where you store it, retrieve it for usage, or if there's anyone that will not be useful, that has passed the lifespan of keeping the record, you destroy it so that the third party, your competitor, will not see it. You must release the resources. Who are the resources? Your team member who are working with you, you release them for another work to do in the organization. Or financial, the money that is still remaining that you have not finished using, you return it back to the organization. The physical assets like caterpillar, you take it back to the organization, don't carry it to your house. Abi you are giving a caterpillar to work, digger and many other instruments and the resources to use. When you finish it, don't take it to your house, you return it back to the organization. It's only when you can fulfill all these conditions, these activities, you can now say you are closing your project. So these activities are part of the closed project or phase process and are typically included in the project management plan. So when you are planning your project, you are also planning how you are going to close it. So therefore, when you are planning your project, you still need to go and revisit the project management plan to see whether what you plan concerning your closure of your project or phases, you met them. So these activities are part of the closed project or phase process and are typically included in the project management plan and in the WBX work breakdown structure under the project management function. Can you see? So remember that when you are closing your project, you transit it. You call it another way you can call it in the exam. They can say transition means hand over. Your team member and you as a project manager, or if you are in the other methodology, the product owner or the scrum master and the development team must transfer the deliverable, whether completed or remember this one for an exam, whether completed or not completed o, you must transfer it to the stakeholder or the end user or the customer or your organizational functional area where they need to use it, the operations. Some organizations use a rollout or transition plan, that when you finish a project there must be a transition plan, or they call it rollout. So remember, they are telling you in this, they are putting, take attention, if they call it rollout, if you don't know the meaning of rollout, you pick the wrong answer. Or transition plan or handover or transition, this is not the project management plan component. Just know that this rollover now is not part of the project management plan. So they can set a question from you that when a project manager is managing the project with the team member and they finish the project and the project need to be transit to the stakeholder, they can now say, this document, is it part of the wish document? Is it part of project management? You can say, is it part of the project management plan? No. A rollout plan is not part of the project management plan. I want you to mark it down. This is not a project management plan component. It's not part of it. It's a separate document. That's what I mean. Mhm. So deliverable, look at this icon. Whenever you see this icon, it's then you are when you are rolling out or transiting or rolling out your project deliverable. Under the waterfall, deliverable are handed to the customer or owner. Transition or handover specification, that is the feature and function that have been specified in the requirements you gather from there. So transition and handover specification for deliverable are in the project management plan. All the specification, you understand me? The measurement, the color, the size, the way, all those things are in the project management plan. But in the hybrid, you tailor a tailor solution that deliver value, most likely in an incremental way to the organization. But when you look at iteration method alone, this one you see here, this icon mean that if you are using both methods in your project work, is what they call hybrid. You tailor it based on what the kind of project you are doing. But if for the iteration, you say every iteration output is handed to the product owner. Now, if at the end of a sprint you created an increment, you demonstrate an increment to the user or the end user or the stakeholder. It is the and that iteration or the output of that iteration is useful, MVP, most valuable product. Because you can be doing a project whereby the component of the whole deliverable can work in part. So it's just like a MVP. You go and test it whether it's working. Whether if there's need also improve the element of that MVP, you can improve it later by giving us feedback. So at every iteration output, you can see is handed to the product owner. That's another point in exam. It's the product owner you hand the output of each of the iteration. Because you remember that the product owner is the one who interact, is the customer voice. Is the one who interact with the customer, who collects what? The user. He collects the requirement from them. So he is the one who know whether that iteration is completed and can deliver it to the owner. It's a customer voice. Product owner is a customer voice. He collects the end user, he collects information from the end user. Then he relates that information to the development team. Mhm. Transition handover readiness. Readiness in this case now. Ensure your customer is ready for change and success. Yes, that one depend on whether you build the deliverable very well based on the standard and the quality required and based on the requirement gathered from them or the statement of work. You ensure your customer is ready for change and success. In fact, your project, the end result of your project, your outcome of your project should deliver success and change the organization. You are a change owner, you are a change maker. The outcome of your project it mean that you are creating a change in the organization. You are creating continuous improvement. You are improving. You want to improve something. You want to move from the present state to the future state. Readiness may require additional change management activities to ensure adoption and overcome resistance. Since your project outcome supposed to bring change to organization, how do you make sure that change is not resisted? If it is resisted, how do you overcome the resistance from the people in that organization? Change is bitter, but the outcome of a change is very sweet. There's a way you used to do something in an organization. This project you are doing is just a waste of money. People tell you waste of money, nothing, it cannot work. For example, now in an organization, they have been using manual way of doing their work, especially their accounting process. They have been using manual work to do it, and it is not effective. It's not efficient. It does not allow them to be able to do efficient work. Their process is not optimized. They don't have a optimized process or optimized flow or optimized activities. So that means it's too costly. That's what I mean. It's too costly for them. It wastes their time. It causes a lot of waste. So how do you optimize it? If there's a resistance, for example, now they now say, okay, because we are doing manual now, I want to optimize our process and workflow. Let us now change from um, 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 to automation. You are changing from doing the work in your organization using a manual way. You now translate it to automation. People will say, ah, no, 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 we don't automate. Most of the people who resist that automation process are the people who are benefit from the old way of doing things. Lazy people, people who are in, there's a loophole in your manual way. Maybe the people who are preparing your accounting account, all the cover that remaining, they can pack it, it can reach about millions. But when you automate your process, all those cover which we don't pay attention to, you see, it will be revealed in the automation process. So some people who are gaining from the manual method will resist, and that's why some stakeholder will resist your change you want to make through your project. They will resist it because they know that the loopholes will be exposed using automation, and that the automation will make us to know who is working, who is not working. Automation will help us to reduce cost. Automation will help us to reduce waste. It will help us to optimize our processes and workflow. So some people will resist it because they are gaining in the old method, which is manual method. You can see. So your organization must be ready, otherwise nothing will happen. Especially critical if an existing product or service is being upgraded. You are upgrading from the manual way of doing your project or manual way of doing things in your organization to automation, to fine tune your process, to optimize your process. You have to assess the readiness of all the parts. Can you see? Readiness of the end user. Can you see? Readiness of the business or the enterprise as a whole. What is the readiness of the project team? And the readiness of the support staff who are working operations. You can see. It's part of the closing of the project. Transition and over activities. What are the activities? Remember, you must always link the activities of the transition and handover activities to the beginning. Remember, when you are starting your project, when you are initiating your project, there's something we do in we call something, what do we call that thing? That's a document we create. You do what they call, let me try to remember that document. When you and if I remember, I will tell you. I cannot remember now. Well, I will tell you now. You can always link your transition and hand that activity to the initial time you start your project. Business case. I want to talk about business case. Before your organization starts doing a project, they will write a business case concerning that project. Business case will just tell you why are we embarking on this project? What are the justification for this project? What benefit will this project bring to us in the end after we have implemented it and we have translated it to the owner and the owner? That is why we need to come again and visit, because under that document we have what they call uh, business, we call something um, benefits realization plan is under that document. Benefits realization. When you are starting your project, you write what are the benefits we are going to gain, we are going to realize when we are finish this project. They will document it in business case that time. So when you want to hand out, you want to transit the project to the end user or the organization or and the enterprise, you need to go and visit the benefit realization. Can you see? What we said that we are going to realize with this project, let's go and visit it again. So effective transition or handover of deliverable or product enable the end user awareness, increasing the likelihood of successful adoption of that project too, and therefore benefit realization. So the transition requirement can include what? When I transit my project, maybe I develop an application for your department to use to manage their processes. Number two, what I will do is that the people who are going to use that application or software, I need to provide training for them. It is the development team that wrote it. They know how it works. the in and out of the application. They know how it works. They know they develop the documentation. They are the original. God knows how our body operates. So that when we are sick, sometimes we want to use a spiritual method. We can go to God. God, I've tried doctor, I've tried nurses. They cannot provide solution to my problem in my body. Go back to God spiritually and pray. God will tell you, I'm the one who created this thing. This is how it must work. Who is now calling me now? I don't know if me at this network. I don't know. Hello. Hel-
Afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm fine, sir. Sir, it's time for the class. We are waiting.
Waiting for what?
Sir,
Join now. You don't have to waste already. Join the class. I gave you the. I gave you what you need to join now. We are still do something that is common to
I'm
both.
online.
Eh?
I'm online, sir. I'm online.
Listen to the thing now. What is common to your own is common to the project management. That's what I'm taking together.
And
And what?
like there are not only two in the class. So and the other lady has just tested message.
Hey, don't worry. You don't worry about that one. Now. You concentrate on your own. Connect now. I'll give you link
And
to connect.
I sent you said you sent my email yesterday. I sent it, but I'm not seeing the material yet.
You cannot enter.
Yes, sir.
I send you a link now. Enter through that link. Maybe it's network.
Okay.
Enter to the link. Link back again. This thing is not easy. Now, remember, transition requirement can include what? Training of the people. For example, I give you an example that part of our project that we want to develop an application that in the maybe account department can be used to manage the accounting processes and work in that department, that functional area. The people who are in the account department organization who are going to use the project, the account when you are going to deliver it to the account department, you have to train them. That means training on the new product and service. Can you see now that your project will not end until you train the people? You are the application developer. You know how you develop it, how it's going to work. You are the one who collect requirement to them. You are the one who build the application. You must training on the new product and service. Can you see now? Documentation for the product and deliverable. Everybody know about documentation. Documentation mean that, for example now, if I want to use the application, I don't know how to use it. I've created a documentation document and documentation. Thereby I say, okay, if something wrong with the application, or if you want to know how to, maybe it's a Microsoft Word now, or work processing software or accounting software. If you want to post a ledger or trial balance, you want to post debit or credit, this is how you are going to do it. It's part of the documentation. Or if you want to maintain the application or software, it's part of documentation. How do you, if you buy maybe TV or a new phone or a new refrigerator, it come with the technical documentation. How you are going to plug it, how you are not going to plug it. Don't plug it with another instrument or something like that one. So e tell you how are you going to use this phone. If you don't know how to use it, or you don't know how to use this machine, e come with the technical document. So you also will have to produce that one for the end user. Effective communication between the project team and the organization. When you are doing your transition and handover, these are the activities. Communication about the team. Reports. Report is part of your report is a part of the communication. Then post implementation support. If you buy a product, I know that I told you about a scenario whereby I bought a product from the one organization. They give me what they call support, hypercare, after sales service. That's a support. They say if I buy this thing from them, they are going to support me for 1 month or 2 years or 1 year or 6 months. If anything happen, they will support me. There are different kind of support. That is why we have what they call experience center. If it is service, you call it experience center. If you have any issue, request or complain, you go there, they are able to resolve it. So also your team member will not just go like that one. Your team, they call something post implementation support, whereby you support the end user of the work. Where are the transition requirement recorded in the predictive project? Who can tell us that one? Go and find the answer to that one. Where are the transition requirements recorded in a predictive project? Predictive. Where do you record it? I've mentioned in here. Who can answer that question from us? Where are the transition requirement recorded in a predictive project? That's waterfall methodology. Who can answer that question? Because everybody's not talking. Are we not hearing me? Mr. Akin, Mr. Fatai, our lady, the only lady there, or there are two ladies there too. Where do you record the predictive? Where are the transition requirements recorded in the predictive project? Uh-uh. Last these people no dey o. Well, you collect the recorded. That's the problem with when you are online. You are just talking, talking. Okay, let's go to the next one. You are supposed to do activities in this area. Since nobody is talking, or probably you are not hearing me because of the network. He said, do you remember the difference between explicit and tacit knowledge? Discuss the importance of transferring both kinds of knowledge from the project team to the customer. That's what we are doing here. There's a certain knowledge of the product you produce or services that you need to transit to the customer. And that knowledge can be tacit and explicit. And in this course, we are able to trash that. We know the different, the way you can transit the tactic knowledge and explicit knowledge to the other people in your organization. Discuss the importance of transferring both kinds of knowledge from the project team to customer. Give an example of how your team has done it in the past. Now let's look at this one. Say paying and closing contracts. Paying and closing contracts. Because if you engage with your vendor, they supply you the project component, resources you are going to use to do your project, and you need from the contract you sign, this is the amount you are going to pay them. So how do you pay the contract and close that contract? You say there are do and don't. You say what are the do's? Do notify the appropriate entity, usually account payable in your own organization, because any payment that will be made in your organization to anybody, whether the employee or the management or the contractor or the vendor, will be done through the account department. You can call that one account payable. So you will notify the appropriate entity, account payable, when work has been fulfilled. The vendor or the contractor have finished the work, he has done it very well. It is the responsibility of the account department to pay the vendor or the contractor. That's why you need to notify the appropriate entity, usually account payable, when work has been fulfilled and contract can be paid. They will not pay them until the contract is finished. They might have paid them half of it or 1/4 of it or 95% of the money, but at the end they now pay the other one. He said, don't, what you must not do, don't delay payment until project or phase closure unless specified in the contract. If the contract said that when in the initial time of the contract, when the supplier is supplying you a maybe component for your project, he said you must pay half of the money. When you reach about half of the project, when you are the half of the project, you pay the you paid 75%. When you close the project, you pay the rest the 100%. So don't delay the payment of the vendor or the contractor. You understand me? Because it can lead to legal issue, and if it has a legal implication, it's going to affect your project. That means your project also fail. You do a project, and you, because you didn't fulfill your own agreement to the contract, agreement to the project, e now lead to legal issue with your contractor, and your contractor now sue you. The total amount of the project is 1 million, 5 million. The contractors sue you for 10 million for paying to meet the contractual agreement between them. And when you went to the court say okay, they now do the judgment. They say go and pay, out of that 10 million, go and pay 7 million to the offender, abi the person you are offending with the contractor. Don't you know the project has failed? So don't do that. Don't delay payment until project or face closure unless specified in the contract. Pay supplier or vendor in accordance with the contract terms. Every contract has term, condition, terms and condition. They will normally write it there. Term and condition. Even most of the services you use in Nigeria, whether you are using MTN, you are using the Glo, you are buying something on store, you are buy something on internet, they tell you term and condition. They'll put it there. That's why you need to read it very well. They will not write it in a small place. You may not see it. Whenever you want to make a claim now, didn't you read the term and condition we give to you? That's why you need to read the term and condition very well. You understand? If you don't understand, engage the legal personnel who understand law. You understand the terms and condition. They will say term and condition apply. This thing happen in insurance company. When you have been paying premium on something, premium, maybe you are paying premium for your as against accident for your car. We have comprehensive premium, we have the one that is just ordinary premium. When you want to claim, you now claim the claim now when the accident happen. Somebody hit you, they're supposed to repair for you, or the thing, everything gone scattered, and they need to give you another car. Story will come. They say, didn't you read the term and condition? That is why pay supplier or vendor in accordance with the contract terms. Then also you look at the term and condition, whether you are following it. Otherwise, you'll be doing something that will backfire against your organization. You may be shooting your legs in the leg. Don't shoot your leg in the leg in your project work. He said, now look at this thing. They give you this one. Say, some payments may have been made during the project. There's some project you will do. You have a supplier vendor. You say, before you start, they'll give you 50% of it. Go and be doing the work. Or they can ask you, you can go and source for the other 50% from bank. So when you reach that a particular time, we are going to pay you that. So some payment may have been made during the project and the contract may have been closed. That's what I mean. How do you handle that? I've paid you part of it before and I don't want to continue the project again. This is where a project manager is need to be very proactive. Be dynamic project manager. Somebody who can emphasize the issue or problem in the future. You can solve the problem now. You can bring the future to the present. Solve the future problem now, so that when you reach future, it doesn't catch you unaware. That is why you see a lot of people who are managing their manager, their leader. They are not proactive. They are not strategic. They say, if I read here, I will solve the problem. That is what is happening in Nigeria now. Everybody want to be leader. They don't want to be. They want to be leader. They want to lead Nigeria. Anybody want to lead Nigeria? Nigeria is a very intricate and a complicated space in the world, in a community. You go back to the grassroots, you look at our problem, go back to local government, go to the state, go to the national, go to the federal level, go to the international and see how it can affect our country. You do your research, you do the work before the end, you know our problem, then you know when you reach there, you know how to solve the problem. Know that not that when I reach there, na him I go na Nigerian in our own balance, in our own problem solving balance. You say, when I reach there, I will solve the problem. When I reach there, I will cross the bridge. You don't do like that. The same way in your project. Don't say when you reach there, you will solve the problem. It can backfire. Our leadership problem we have in Nigeria, everybody want to lead. but they don't know what to do to lead. Number one, you don't have integrity in Nigeria. Everybody want to steal money. Everybody, almost about 92% of Nigeria want to steal money. Whenever they become leader, it's opportunity for them to steal. If you don't, if you are going to be a leader, if you are not good, that leadership will expand your badness. If you are good, if you have moral, that leadership position will expand your morality. Number one problem we have in Nigeria is greediness. Leader want to lead, they don't know what to principle of leading, they don't know the principle of sacrifice. A leader by default, when you are there, you can even go to the extent and say part of my salary as a president, half of it I will distribute to the national something. They are spending for me every month. A president is spending about 1 billion every month or 2 billion. A lot of Nigerians are suffering. Cut it off for me. I'll be using, instead of 10 billion, I will use 2 billion and manage. You are interacting, you are relating with the people who you are leading. You have that thing for them, you care for them, you feel for them, you put yourself in their shoe. That's a leader. So that is what I'm trying to say. I've given you a lot of scenario on how you can be a good project manager, lead a team, manage the processes in your project work. You understand me? Evaluate performance of your project work. You understand me? Use a different kind of skills to use to be able to manage your project. It's left for you now to go and represent me and the PMI in the exam and pass it. When you are finalizing contract, remember archiving, database, where you are going to put a lot of document, because you may not know, you may finish a project this year, there's a legal case, or there may be a legal case in future, they need to refer to that project. If you don't put your document very right, you don't document them very right, and they begin to search, they cannot find the information, or the information have been tampered with, or the information is not complete, you didn't record them very well, that means you have not archived, you have to do your archiving very well. They can penalize the organization too. Regulation can ask you to go and bring a document about your operations. That's why your archiving should be very well. When I say archiving, how do you keep the document you use for your project safe, so that the third party who don't have access to should not have access to it, who are not supposed to be who are not supposed to have access to it, not have access to it. Government can ask to go and bring a document about the project you have done in the past. If you don't document it very well in your archive, your database, how will you do it? They will penalize you. So archiving contract means collecting and indexing and filing your contract schedule. How long will you take the contract to take place between the buyer and the seller? The scope of the work we are going to do. What are the work I'm going to do in the which has been specified in the scope statement? What the level of the scope? What will I do? What will I not do? What are the assumptions? What are the challenges? What are the products I'm going to produce? What are the outcome of my of the work? What is the quality standard? What is the cost performance? Can you see? Contract change the documentation, because your contract contract is a living document. It can change anytime based on the type of contract. So a contract change documentation, how to document it? Payment records and financial document. You have paid the vendor half of the money, 50%. You have to document it. So he can tell you and say, you are not paying me the 50%, or you only pay me 25%. There will be a documentation to show for it. Can you see why archiving, collecting and indexing and filing your document in your project, especially the contract document, should be properly filed, indexed. Indexing means that you give it a number or A, B, C, D. If it has to do with cost, just go to C, you go to C, cost. You go to the court or any other thing, you can see that indexing and filing. How do you search for it quickly and get it? Payment record and financial document. Because when you come to finance, human being can change. So for you to make it to be more clarity and transparency, when you go to some transparency, when it comes to money issue, when you are managing money issue, recording should be transparent. So that is why you need to archive contract, and by collecting and indexing and filing it. All the document has to do with financial spending, payment record and financial document. Inspection results must be documented and indexed. When you need it, you can go there and quickly access it and retrieve it. As built or as developed document, manuals. Yes, when you build an application, you must come with a documentation, technical documentation. How do you operate it? How do you use it? What kind of training you need? How does it work? What are the functional requirements in the product deliverable? What are the non-functional requirements? They call it as built or as developed document, manuals. A manual to operate a system, manual to operate a mobile phone, manual to operate TV, manual to operate what they call it, fridge, refrigerator. All these things will come in manual, the documentation. How to troubleshoot it? When somebody want to troubleshoot it, a professional want to troubleshoot it. The people who are the you call them support team. When it comes to troubleshooting of your system, how do they go about it? What about the technical area of the product you develop? Technical documentation. All these things are very, very important. You need to know how to, all these documents need to be kept safe in your organization database so that when you want to go and access it, retrieve it, you know what to retrieve it. You keep it safe. Not everybody should be given a right to it. The people who are necessary to be given right to it will, can have access to it. When you don't no longer need all these things, when their time of has expired, how do you destroy it so that the third party will not have access to it? Your third party can be your what do you call it? Your competitors, and they have access to it. They can outsmart you in that document. That's why you need to shred those information, shredding process to destroy it, so that the third party, like your competitor, will not have access to it. You put access right to it. Who are the people who supposed to have access to it? Access right, passwords, and other rights into that. Then, what have you covered in this ECO? How do you negotiate project agreement? That's by contract. You verify objectives of the project. Agreement is met. You verify objectives of the project until agreement is met. You plan and manage project and phase closure of transition. During the transition, the stakeholder or the end user or the customer or the organization will validate the readiness of the transition. Because you are making changes, people may be ready for change. They must be ready to accept that change. And you are a change maker, you are a change producer. You are producing a deliverable or output that can that can align your organization to change. So how ready are they? That's where change management will come in. So you validate the readiness of the transition, operation team, or next phase. The whatever you produce, the solution you provided, the solution you built in terms of maybe application or software, it is the operation of your organization who are in a particular functional area will use it. How will they accept it? How do they use it? That's what documentation comes in. God, they relax. There's a way they used to do things in your organization. Now, there's a new thing coming that can bring improvement. They may resist change. Somebody who have been using manual method to do accounting process, it will waste time in preparing the account. The wages and salary of the cost of the employee will be delayed. To file tax to government will be delayed, and it has a negative impact in your organization. But when you automate it, it makes things very more efficient. You optimize your process, efficiency and effectiveness. Then it can help you to generate income and benefit your organization. So people who want to use manual, they can even damage the thing you produce. So that was it. Validate the readiness for transition, operation, and teams or next phase. Then conclude activities to close out project or phase, like a final lesson learned, historical information, like when you are talking about an agile retrospective meeting, whereby the team member who have done the work of the project, they come to validate themselves, their process. How was it in the last sprint? How they can improve on it? Improvement, sprint retrospective. Then you also do the same thing for procurement. Do a proper closure. All the financial record of your project work, activity, your spending must be properly kept, because when it comes to finance, when it comes to spending money, people can change. So if you pay somebody 100 million, he say you only paying 200 million, you pay him only 5 million. How do you know? When you don't keep your financial record very well, you need to get a financial director, all the accounting people who help you to manage your accounting, and the resources also, you need to manage them very well. All the resources that you use, maybe the money that is remaining you are not finished using, you return it back to the account department or account payable. Or all the machine that you use to do your project work, caterpillar, everything, you don't carry it to your house, you take it back to the organization. That's what you have learned in that place. Then let's look at the benefit realization. Benefit realization. That project work, when you are starting the project, in your business case, you do what they call you design a document called benefit management plan. That by the time I finish this project, who are the people who are going to benefit in this project? How are they how are they going to realize the benefits of this project? When will they realize the benefits of this project? What will it mean? How can you create a picture of the benefit they are going to get in this project? So when you are closing to, that one must reflect in the closure of the project. They call it benefit realization. So can you see now? It's a early and long term benefit realization. Some benefits are immediate, while others could take a new month to year to realize. If I am building an application to automate the processes and to automate the workflow or the activities in my organization, it is not that when I finish building that application, we can quickly get the reward or benefit. Some benefit will be gradual, step by step. Some benefits I'm going to derive from that application development, or that application I developed or I created. It could be, it can start from a month, it can be benefit in a month, another month, another month. It can be a long time benefit realization. So some benefits are immediate, while other could take a few months to year. So also, if you are a business analyst, you created a solution for your vendor, you created a solution for your organization, because you are a solution provider. Organization has a problem, and they have a problem and they want you to help them to provide solution. Then when you create a solution like a maybe application or software, there must be a time, um period, whereby that the realization of that benefit of that application will be experienced by the organization to bring improvement. It could be a month, it could be 2 months, it could be 3 months, it could be 4 months, it could be a year, it could be long time benefit realization. So that thing must be well explained in your project. So benefit accrue at different various stages depending on what? That benefit realization depends on what? Project life cycle you use. If you are using agile methodology to create a solution by your project team member, the realization in the agile is faster. Early, you can get a benefit of the increment early. If you look at the characteristic of agile or scrum or change process, you are using scrum or agile, you see the benefit of using that methodology is faster, is early, MVP. You can quickly show it to the user, the maybe the module of the application. The user will look at it, it's okay, they can start using it early, early increment, early usage of that thing you produce. But when you come to waterfall, it may take some year, many years before you can get benefit from that application or the outcome or deliverable of your project. So it depends on the project life cycle. So when you say waterfall methodology is a life cycle, that one will take a longer time before you can accrue benefit from the project deliverable. When you're talking about maybe agile or scrum, the benefit of that project, you start it even before you start, before you finish the project. So the benefit accrued accrued at the various stages depend on what? The project life cycle you use, the nature of the project work you are doing. If it's a complex project or simple project, or it has a long process to do it, it depends. That will determine when they are going to get the benefits. What is the intended outcome? What outcome are you trying to achieve? So that benefit also realization will also depend on that intended outcome. Can you identify a type of project in which value is delivered very early? Yes, that is a plan driven project now, or you are developing an application or software, and a project in which value is delivered monthly or even year. That one is agile methodology. We are building a house. If you don't finish building the whole house or every component of the house, the room, you cannot live inside it. Until when you finish everything, you start living. That's what they are telling you here. Benefit transition and sustainment. There's one thing to benefit in a project. There is need for you to sustain it. If I build an application for organization to automate their processes, to automate their workflow, that automation, that software I use, I develop for them. Not only will it be useful, how do you sustain it? How do you maintain it? How do you manage it so that it can last longer? So benefit transition and sustainment responsibility. Look at the waterfall methodology. Any improvement or modification to deliver benefit is a new project. You take it as a new project. If you are going to modify the application, it's another new project. If I build a house and I discover that I need to increase the level of the house, maybe before it's a fourth floor, and we have not completed it, we put the then we say we want to continue again. Any continuation, it should be seen as a project. In a agile, when you are transiting it, handover transition review of the benefit management plan. Remember that when you are starting your project, in the initial time, you define what they call benefit management plan. That is why this thing is playing now here now. When you are closing it now, can we now see the benefits you promise us when you are initiating the project? Any improvement or modification to deliver benefits are proposed as work for the next or future iteration and place and reprioritize on the backlog. If I build an application, it's not working very well, maybe the module, for me to repair it, to sustain it, to improve on it, I need to take it back to the product backlog. Then I will reprioritize it. Who does it? Is it the product owner that does it? Reprioritize it based on the need and the value that the customer or the end user wants at that particular point in time. So it is what the development team will now take it to the sprint and begin to develop. If you are going to use hybrid, the combination of waterfall and the adaptive methodology, say organization and team tailor solution. You can do some project that you need to use both methodology. So in this case now, you can look at a project, you can use the combination of the agile methodology and waterfall methodology. So organization and team tailor solution for benefit realization and sustainment, e.g. post implementation support, like DevOps or Yapake. DevOps mean that how do you integrate when you build an application, a module and module. Each module is working separately, and you have developed about 10 modules, they are working separately. But there's a need for the whole module to integrate and interact with one another, or the external factor or actor, how can they interact with different modules? So in this case now, DevOps, they are the set of engineer again who will come again and say all those things you want to deploy them, you now bring all the modules together and join them to make sure that all the modules are interacting and communicating with one another, so that I can give you a seamless process, seamless workflow. It will improve your process standardization. It will streamline your process for you. It will make your process to be more efficient and effective. Then it can add value to your organization. It can help you to generate income. It can help you to improve your processes. It can help you to reduce waste. It can help you to gain more customer. It can increase your customer database. It can help you to capture more market in the market in your industry. It can help you to outwit your competitors. So it can help you to grow both your employee and the key stakeholder. Can you see? Then what are the benefit transition and sustainment? Let's look at it now. Benefit transition and sustainment. How do you transit the benefit? How do you sustain it? An explanation. Look at it from the point of view of project team. You can look it from the point of view of customer. You can look it from the point of view of project owner or the project manager. If you are in this meeting, you are learning projects and you are learning business analysis. Remember that a business analyst is somebody that provides solution to maybe organization. An organization has a problem in managing managing their project or managing their business. They have an issue, they have a need, they have a want. They cannot solve it. Maybe their customer number is dwindling. Their processes is not efficient. They are losing their customer. They are losing their customer database. Customer are not buying. Their profits is coming down. Customer are not coming to their business. They now call you as a business analyst. I say, can you help us and help us to solve this problem? Then you as an analyst, you look at the organization, you analyze the situation, you analyze the organization as a whole, as an enterprise, you analyze the people who are working in the organization, you analyze the employee, their activities, their workflow, what they do. You go at the project they have done in the past, you look at their record, their document, you analyze it. You look at the organizational goal. Every organization has goal. What are they trying to achieve? What are the problems that will not allow them to be able to use to achieve their objectives? What are the problems they are encountering? What are the root causes of their problem? That is why we use that Ishikawa diagram. You look at use what are the tools I'm going to use to analyze the problem of the organization. Then you now come up after you have done all these things, you do the analysis. You can use financial analysis. You can use a lot of tools to analyze and now discover this is the problem of the organization. You now build that solution. You give them solution to their problem. You now say, okay, this solution will bring benefit to your organization. It help you to be able to increase your customer, get more customer, improve your product, improve the quality of your product, improve the quality of your service. We help you to get more customer. We increase your profit. You sell more. You help you to get a good brand name in the eyes of the customer. That's a benefit. So how do you transit that benefit? How do you make sure that that solution you give to them is sustained? It can sustain the organization for a longer period. How do you translate that solution to them so that they can use it and they can benefit from it? That's what we are talking about here. So look it from the three perspective. From the project team, the project team are the team who create the solution, who help the organization to provide solution to their problem. Customer are the people who use the solution. You are not selling better, or your production has decreased, and I can help you. Maybe I talked to you last week. I say if you are a baker, you are producing about maybe 1,000 loaf of bread in a day. That's what your capacity can take to produce. But your customer want to get more than 1,000 loaf of bread. If you look at your statistics and your record, your sales, customer are demanding more than what you can produce. That your capacity cannot meet the customer demand. Maybe your customer daily they want about 200 or 2,000 or 3,000 loaf of bread to buy from you, and you are able to create only 1,000. What does that one suggest? It means that your productivity capacity is low. Maybe the machine you are using, it doesn't have that capacity to be able to produce that amount of bread, loaf of bread. What do? I, as a business analyst, I will suggest to him that okay, you can update this your oven. You can increase the capacity, or you can buy a new oven or automatic oven that can help me to not only produce large quantity but to produce a better quality, and to produce not only better quality, to produce it on time. But customer want to buy something, it's not available. So I can say, okay, let me suggest that let us buy a new oven that can help us to produce large quantity, that can help us to produce good quality, that can help us to produce it on time, that can help us to be able to operate it in such a way that we don't have to stress ourselves. That's the solution. So that solution meets the needs of the customer. So that's why customer must be involved. And it's the customer. The product owner and the manager who lead the team, they have part to play in the benefit transition and sustainment. So when you look it from this angle now, look at this angle. I'm looking from this angle now. If I look it from this angle and say project team delivers benefit to customer organization abi, customer ensure that continue generation of improvement. If I give you an automatic machine or automatic oven that can help you to produce large quantity to meet the demand of the customer, help you to produce a quality output, quality bread, tasteful bread that when I taste it I want to come back again. I want to produce it on time. You understand me? And I want to produce it with ease. So why am I doing this? It's for the sake of the customer. So you ensure that when you want to translate the benefit, that solution, ensure that the continue generation of improvement and deliver benefit capture additional customer input. So when you want to do this kind of a thing, when you want to for example now, you collect requirement from the stakeholder from the beginning. Requirement is at the what are the feature and function I must include in this solution that can help the customer to meet their need, to meet your customer need. That's why your customer must be involved when you're talking about transition, because you collected requirement from there. When you are transitioning the solution to them, they want to see that requirement inside that solution. They want to see that solution that's inside that requirement. So you must gather customer input. So ensure continued generation of the improvement and deliver benefits. Capture additional customer input. Customer will give you a feedback. How the machine is working well, it's not working well. This is the benefit you get from this new solution. From the product owner and the project manager, if you understand very well, product owner is for the agile. The project manager is for the traditional way of managing projects, waterfall. Works with customer to identify work required for the desired improvement. A product owner is the one that acts as an interface between end user and the development team. The project manager also is the one that interacts with the end user and now give them the feedback to his team member who are going to do the work of the project. The development team are the one who create the product, create the service, create the deliverable, create the outcome, create the output. So they must be involved when you are transiting the solution and to be able to sustain the solution, how to maintain it, how to manage it so that it can last longer. The project team provides planned performance data. Customer does what? Compare actual performance to planned performance, including KPI. Then the product owner and the project manager use metrics choosing with the team to measure the performance of the solution you created for the organization to solve their problem. If you create a solution for me, I must be able to measure it whether it's working well or not working well. What are the things I'm going to know to use to determine that this solution you provided, you created for me to be able to manage my organizational performance or to improve my organization is working well. Then the project team work with the business owner to suggest benefit realization metrics, including frequency and monitoring responsibility. You have to monitor the solution continuously whether I can sustain the organization. Implement benefit realization metric at the sustain or the suitable interval tailored to needs. That's what the customer will be doing. For the product owner or the project manager, which we have learned before, collaborate with the team to determine the suitable metric. Another thing you can do here, under the project team, you can also say you determine if any remaining risk might prevent the benefit achievement of the solution you created for the organization. When you look it from the perspective of the customer identify risk, processes and tools needed to ensure continued benefit realization. They also monitor the risk affecting deliverable benefit or the benefit that you deliver. If you provide me solution, I can see risk there, I can monitor it. Then when you look from the project manager or the or the product owner, what are they doing? They monitor the risk on impediment log. Remember, don't forget the impediment log. All the impediments are in the impediment log, and collaborate with the team about the responses. Then collaborate with team to update technical information. If it's it is the if it is the customer or the end user, you update the technical information. For example, say frequent answer, frequent question, frequent answer and question. That's it. Customer normally ask certain question. You can provide the technical information to them that if this solution are provided for you. For example, now if I design a new oven for you for baking your bread, if there's if the oven e now begin to bake the bread in such a way that all the bread is turning black black black, what do I do? Frequent answer and question. I say there's a way you can adjust the node of that oven so that maybe it's too high, the temperature is too high. You turn it down so that if you want it to be more whiter, you turn it up, you turn it low so that it doesn't bake, the oven doesn't bake the bread to make it brownish. You can make it whitish. It depends. Some customer want a bread to be white, some customer want it to be between white and brown, some customer want it to be brownish. So you can create a technical information about if this oven I supply to you to bake your bread is now misfunctioning, what do you do? Frequent answer and questions. You can see this is how you can sustain the solution. So I'm talking to some group of people in this course too. Some of them they are joining us. When a business analyst is the one that provides solution, he creates solution for a organization that's having problem in their work processes, in their operation, in their workflow. There's a challenge in the organization. They are not meeting their needs. Their profit is coming down. Their customers are going away. The quality of their products is going down. The customer database is going down. Income is not flowing to the organization. The company can close anytime. They now hire you as a business analyst. Can you help us to analyze our organization? Can you help us find out what is the cause, error? What is we are sick. In other words, say we are sick. This organization is sick. Can you help us to analyze, go through our organization, look at our document, look at our customer, interview our stakeholder, look at our document in the past, our processes in the past, look at our structure, present structure, look at our machine, look at our resources, look at our employee, look at the information we are using to do our business. Help us to analyze it so that I can help us to provide solution, so that I can bring our customer back. We can improve our product quality. We can increase our income. We can have many customer, increase our database. How can we be able to outwit our competitor? We are not only the one that are doing the producing a bread or producing something in our industry. We have other competitors who are competing with us. How can we outwit them? How can we outsell our competitor? That is the work of the business analyst. When you now go and analyze everything in the organization, including the structure of the organization, the stakeholder, the user of their product, the customer, their database of the information, and all the employee, their processes they are using, their workflow, you now discover that certain thing cause those problems. You now give them solution. That is where we are now. You now provide solution to them, and the solution is now working. You now begin to bring the solution. Now he gave them I advice or implementation. How do I put it? The advice he gave to them, the solution he provided to the organization for the changes, for them to be able to bring back the customer and to get more customer and increase their income and other thing. E begin to work. Now say when you now transit that solution to them, how do you make sure that that solution continue to work for a longer period? How do you translate the solution to them? How do you sustain that solution? That's what we're learning here. To sustain that solution, you have to look it from the work project team, the customer, and the product owner. The product owner and the project manager, they are the people who are leading the people who create the solution. so they can tell you how the solution can be sustained for a longer period. The customer who are going to use the solution, the customer who are going to benefit from the solution, they must play part in it too. That's why I say sometimes customer, you can say frequent and frequent answer and question. You can put it in your website. These are the type of question and the customer need to ask about our product. You are already giving them the predefined question and answer. It can solve their problem. The people who are going to build the project team, they are part of the sustainment. They can tell you that this solution will build for you, maybe an oven for breaking bread. This solution, these are the challenges, these are the limitation, these are the capacity, these are the functional requirement, these are the non-functional requirement, these are the things you cannot do, you must not do with this solution. You must not, these are the things you must not do with this oven. Oven is solution is their problem. They are using old oven before. E cannot meet their capacity. That old oven cannot meet the quality they want. E cannot help their to increase their capacity, productivity. It's making them to lose their customer. It's bringing down their brand name down. They are losing money. They are losing customer. Their customer are going to their competitor. It is the project team who develop it will tell you this solution. This is the advantage, disadvantage. This is the capacity. This is do and don't do with this solution. These are the functional requirements. These are non-functional requirements. This is how you are going to manage this solution. This is how you are going to manage this the oven to work to the capacity. These are the things you must not do. These are the if you are using electricity, you must not. This is the capacity of that other it will burn. If you are using generator, this is how you are going to tune it. If you are using the other solar, this is where you cannot use solar, or you can use solar. They will tell you to sustain and to elongate the lifespan of the solution they created for you, so that the solution can last longer and you can benefit for longer. That's what you have learned here. But remember, when we are starting our project, when you are trying to analyze the problem before you start your project, you write what they call business management plan, a business document developed by the organization to define potential benefit from the project effort. What does it contain? Business management plan. It has a business document. It's a business document. It's a major input to authorizing the project. Remember that when we are starting a project, when you want to authorize a project, who can tell us what is the document we use to authorize a project? Who can tell us? Who can still remember? Is there anybody there, or am I just speaking to myself? When you start a project, what is that document that can help you to authorize a project? Who can remember? Hello, Mr. Fatai. Hello, Mr. Hakim. Hello, our ladies. Which document will help you to authorize a project? Without that document, your project is not in existence. Nobody. Well, I'll soon finish this thing. So, the benefit management plan or business document is a major input to authorizing the project. Examine the requested benefit and determine if both the tangible and intangible benefit value. Because when you talk about benefits, a solution that can benefit, it can be a tangible benefit or intangible benefit, or it can provide intangible value or tangible value. For example, now, if you are you are a baker, you have been baking products and the quality of your product has gone down. People no longer buy again. Your customer will be telling you that people that people they are not, their bread is not good again. It will affect the name of your organization. But if you can produce very well, everybody will know about you. Your name of your organization, your brand name, you call it brand name. Everybody, when you say Coca-Cola, that's a good brand. They can say value bread, that's a good brand. That's what we're trying to talk about here. Your brand name, your benefit can be tangible. Tangible is that that machine is producing good bread. But apart from that one, intangible benefit are what? Because you are producing with a good machine now, your bread is okay now. Everybody enjoy your bread. every customer enjoy your service, they go and tell one another, and they are telling one another the name. E be flying from Nigeria to Kano, from Kano to Ikeja, from Ikeja to Sango, from Sango to Ibadan. Your brand name is making wave, making impact in the eyes of customer. That means more customer will be drafting, they will be running for your product. If you put it in supermarket, they will buy it. If you put it anywhere, they will buy it. If you put inside, oh, they will go there. Brand name. You can see. That's why you need to provide solution. You need to deliver a product. You need to deliver a deliverable. The outcome of your project should be able to deliver value to customer. That's what they are saying here. It could be the value, the business value can be tangible or intangible. A name of your organization that is being spelled well, everybody knows, this is a good brand. It's an intangible value. The product you are selling is good, quality is good, enjoyed it. I eating the bread, I love it. A cake bread, soft bread. The aroma of the bread sef, that is a intangible benefit to the customer, and they'll keep on buying from you. Your income will increase, your revenue will increase, your business will grow, you overcome your market share will increase, your market database will increase. You can be able to compete favorably among the competitor in your industry. You can see. So it is not enough for you to just manage a project from the beginning to the end and just deliver it. That what you are saying here now, before you can deliver it and say you have finished the project, that project must deliver value to the end user. That's the summary of what you are talking about here. You determine the time frame for short and long term benefit realization. Some of the benefits that your project will bring to the end user we may not be immediate. Some people may start enjoying the benefits in the first month, second month, third month, up to 3 years. So it depends on the kind of project you roll out. Identify a benefit owner responsible for achieving the benefits. In every benefit, when you finish your project, you translate it, you hand over to the end user. We have somebody we call a benefit owner. The benefit owner is the one who will be managing it to see whether the benefit we propose from the beginning is true benefit or they are really benefiting. He has a metric to measure it. You identify a benefit owner responsible for achieving the benefit, including what metric or measurement to be used, which individual or group measure the result. In the plan, determine whether any remaining project risk might prevent benefit achievement. Can you see? When key stakeholders are identifying desired project benefits, let them suggest how the benefit should be measured. You say, this machine or this oven, we have been using an oven, mechanical oven before. The oven is burning our bread, and customers are rejecting the bread. Because of that rejecting the bread, they go to our competitors. Our income and revenue is decreased. We losing our customer to competitor. Revenue is down. We cannot pay the salary of our worker, our employee. We are wasting our resources. It's like our business want to fail. You now call me in as a business analyst or project manager. Can you build a solution for me? And I say, what you need is I want to automate your process, your workflow. The way you bake your bread, I want to bring a new solution, new machine, new oven, automatic one that you don't need to stress yourself. Once you have just mix your ingredient and the flour together, put it in the way you're supposed to put it, the machine will do everything for you. You can set the machine so that it not be too brownish or not too whitish. That's what I mean. You can help it to maintain the quality, even the aroma, the look and everything, the feel. Customer will love it. By loving it, you can increase your productivity. They will buy more. The increments will come, improvement will come. That's an improvement. You get more income, revenue will come, the company will grow. All the other customers who have left before, they will come back because you are now automated it. That is what the work of the project manager. That is the work of the business analyst. Providing a solution that can help to improve the activities of the organization so that what the organization will benefit, like customer will come, more customer, more income, more revenue, their brand name, everybody begin to know it. It's a household name. When I say your brand name, the name of your organization or what you produce is a household brand name. That means that nearly about all everybody in the country, every home, they make use of your brand, your product. You know what the implication of that one? You'll be selling. In fact, you oversell. You get much profit, you grow. Your customer will grow with you, and your employee also will grow because you'll be able to pay them as what is due. You can even increase their salary. You can see. So when key stakeholders are identifying design project benefit, let them suggest how the benefit should be measured. The benefit must be measured through the stakeholder. Who is the benefit owner? That benefit, that solution you provided for the organization to improve after you have done your necessary analysis, after you have designed, you have implemented the project. Who will make sure that that benefit will be sustained? They call it benefit owner. Benefit owner works with the project manager and team leads during the project to ensure planned benefits are managed as they are delivered. Benefit owner assists in transitioning the requested benefit to the receiving organization. It could be a organization, it could be a end user. They ensure that the measurement metrics, how are you going to measure that the new solution is working according to how we describe the requirement to you? Ensure that the measurement metric and method are established and monitored. You monitor whether the solution is working, long time usage of the solution. You report to management on the realized result, whether that benefits, the value is consistent or not consistent. You report to management on the realized result value. Result is a value or outcome or output or deliverable of the delivered benefits. So there must be a way to manage to give report. Even if you are a business analyst, after you have demonstrated for them and they have seen the product is working, is benefiting the organization, you write a report. Why do you need to write a report? Before, you are using old way of baking bread, you are using manual. You are not telling them that the new solution you give to them na you have automated their baking process. And I say that there's a benefit. There's a difference between when you are using mechanical oven, whereby you use mud, you use pan, you put the bread inside that pan, you use something to carry the pan into the mud where you put the fire to burn the can to be able to bake the bread. Can you see the difference? Here you don't sweat, everything runs smoothly, you produce quality bread. I'm taking a case study now of a baker. You see a oven that is automated, even to the point of liloning, you don't even need to touch it.